Hello, everybody. The Kenyan American Home here TV. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. It's over right here, right here. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. And for the returning subscribers, the notification gang, thank you so much. Thank you so much for always coming back. So the DV 2025 is officially open. And if you didn't already know that, now you do. So I'm here to kind of take you through the process of filling out the, DS 5501. So I'm going to walk you through completing the form, talk about some of the things that you need to know. And hopefully you will benefit from this. And I'm going to try and answer some of the few questions that you may have along the way. But yeah, feel free. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start. So if you don't even know the website that you're supposed to start with, let me walk you through how do you even start. So if you go to your Google and you type in dvprogram.state.gov, so you can type either in Google or you can type it in your web browser. Just type in dvprogram.state.gov and it opens up for you the website. So this is the website that you complete your DV 2025 application, and it's telling you here that it was open today, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will close October 4th, which is today, and it's going to close 12 p.m. November 7th. So it's open until November 7th. And and it tells you the entry will only be available during this period, after November 7th, it'll disappear. All right. So it gives you some instructions if you need instructions, gives you some photo examples if you need any photo examples. But then here is where, this is the entry form. So this is where you click on begin entry and then you go on. So then it kind of gives you it gives you some information. It tells you that come after you complete filling out the form, come back on May 4th. May 4th is when May 4th next year is when the results will come out. That's when the results will come out. Okay. All right. So with that, so this is the same website you're going to use to be able to come back and check your status. See here, check status. All right. So all you need to do to begin is click on begin entry. And once you hit on begin entry, you'll get bring you to this page, electronic diversity entry form. And then there's an authentication code. So sometimes the code is too long. So if you want to get a shorter code, or if you want to hear it, you can push the CAPTCHA. But if you want like a smaller number, you can keep changing this until it'll give you a small number that you can enter, an easier number for you to enter. So you can keep doing that. But otherwise, if you want it,
BERAVCDJ.
all right, so you heard it, BERAVCDJ. So it tells you that, do that, and then click the submit button. And it's going to take you in to the diversity visa. So once you enter that and you hit the submit button, it's going to bring you to this page that shows you. So this is the page it brings you to, and this is, so you're officially inside the electronic diversity visa entry form. And this is where you start answering the questions. Okay. So I've done it. I went ahead and pre-entered it because I don't want us to take so much time, typing and all that stuff. But I'll walk you through the question. So part one of the application is it asks you your name. So here, for what I need to tell you is you need to have your, what you need to have is you need to have your birth certificate and your passport. All right. But if you don't have your passport, you can use your birth certificate. So those are the best forms of ID that you need to use, because those are the ones that you'll take to the to the interview once you're selected. So they'll need your birth certificate, but they'll also need a passport. But I understand that a lot of people don't have passports, and so you'll need to apply for. And if you only have a birth certificate, you can apply for this. But I'm gonna caution you on some things that you need to know ahead of time. So when it comes to the birth certificate, and especially like where I come from, the birth certificate only has your name. It only shows your name. So it'll show you a Christian name and then the traditional name that you're given. I'm giving you an example, like born in Kenya. uh, your birth certificate will only have your name, but then it'll also have the name of your mother and the name of your father. All right. So the last name here that is listed here, the last name is the name of either your father or your mother. So I had my mom's name, so that's what I used to enter here. I changed my name after I moved to the US, but you need to have this is where you put your surname. So if you have your passport, it's going to be the one written surname. So your surname will be your last family name. Otherwise, you if you don't have a passport and you only have a birth certificate, you will put in your dad's name, your dad's name here. So your dad's last name will go here, and then your first name, which is why it's so important to have a passport. Because if you already have a passport, all this information is there for you. All this information is there for you. And you know how you were named, right? You know how you were named. So you know your last name because your last name is going to be your family name. All right. And then you put in your first name, which most of the time it's the Christian name that they give you. And then the middle name in Africa, that is usually the name they give you. All right. But if you don't have a first name, you would click no first name. If you don't have a middle name, you would click no middle name. All right. And then we go up to gender. So gender, male or female. All right. I think that's pretty clear. So you can male or female. So check one. There's no complications on the others. And then you go to your birth date. So birth date here, the US does it differently from the rest of the world. So what you need to put first, you need to put the month. All right. So what month were you born? And then what date of the month were you born? And then what year were you born? If you have your birth certificate and your passport, it's going to have all that information. That's why it's important to have those documents with you when you're filling this out. So after that, question number 3 asks, what city were you born? All right. A lot of people struggle with what city they were born. If you don't know the city that you were born, you can always check mark the birth city. You can always check back the birth city and known, but otherwise, you can put in where you were born. Nairobi. A lot of people say, okay, like in Kenya, there are no, not cities. What you do, look at your birth certificate. Your birth certificate will say birth in that particular district in that particular province. So whatever it says there, use that name. So like if you were born in Nyeri and you were born like in Karatina Hospital, then Karatina is a city. So the city is what, like if you have a location in Kenya, like if you have a location, use that city, the name of that city. What is the name of the town you live in? The name of the town you were born. That's what they're asking when they say city. What's the town you were born in? So put the name of the town. Like I was born, Nairobi. Nairobi is a city if you live in Nairobi. So if you live in Nairobi, like you're born in Kenya and live in Nairobi, the city is Nairobi. If you were born in Kisii, you would put, maybe that's maybe that's a province. So it says do not enter district, county, or province. Okay, do not enter the district, county, or province. So it's really the town you were born in. So the town you were born in, that's what you would put in there, and then the country where you were born, you would put the name. I'm using Kenya, so say I was born in Kenya, in your country of eligibility. So this is important. If your country of eligibility is the same as the country where you were born, then you would say it asks you the question, are you claiming eligibility based on the country where you were born? And if that's the case, like if you were born in Kenya and you want to play the DV lottery as a Kenyan, you would say yes. This is not complicated for, so whatever you were born, just say yes. But let's say you were maybe born in a country like Nigeria. You were born in Nigeria, but maybe your parents are from a country, because Nigeria doesn't qualify to play the DV lottery. But maybe your parents were born in another country. And this is, you can go into the explanation of country of eligibility to kind of go into the, those details. That gets more complicated. So maybe the country you were born in is not qualified, is not eligible. You can use your parents, if your parents were born in a different country. If your parents are nationality, they have different nationalities than you do, you can be able to, use your parents' country of eligibility as your own. But just go into this explanation, and it's going to give you, the example. So in that case, if the country you were born is not the country you're applying for your eligibility, then you would say no, and then you would list the particular country that you're in. But for everyone else, most of the people, this is straightforward. Just say yes. You were born in Kenya and you want to file as a Kenyan. And then you put, there is the entrance photograph. If you haven't already seen this, I have done a video kind of walking you through the requirements of a photo. I've given you 3 websites that you can be able to check your photo, make sure it's good. So you need to check your photo before you do this, because if you do not check your photos before you upload, you're going to upload, and then if it doesn't meet the qualifications, you'll get disqualified. All right. So I posted a video about photos, and that video kind of walks you through how to, what kind of a photo you need and how to check your photo, and the 3 websites that you can use. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So upload. So what you do is you have your photo, then you would click choose new photo, and it would upload. So I've already done that. So it tells you have already uploaded your photograph. If you wish to change, click on choose photo and you can change it. All right. If your photo doesn't meet the dimensions, so it'll only refuse if your photo doesn't meet the dimensions. If your photo doesn't meet the dimensions, it'll give you a red warning. Okay. All right. So then the next section is the mailing address. This section is not as important as they used to be a long time ago. Okay. So here in countries like in Africa, where we don't really have a good address system like the people in the US, it kind of becomes a little bit difficult to be able to put in the mailing address. But what you can do, like, choose a monumental place. So I would say, like, if you live in Gong Road, if you live in Jogoo Road, I would put Jogoo Road. And then for the address, I'll put Jogoo Road or Ngong Road or Kikuyu Road or whatever road, if it's a bypass, whatever highway you're on, I would put that one in as a big road, kind of a landmark around the place you live, and then put in the city or the town. Okay, city or the town. So Ngong Road is in Nairobi. And then after you do that, put the province, which is Nairobi. So add Nairobi, and then postal code. You put the postal code for Ngong Road, which is 00505. If you don't have a postal code, you can check this box here to say you don't have it, and then 505, and then you would select your country. You would select your country, Kenya. So let me show you something different here about. And especially for, like, if you live in Kenya. If you just Google postal codes, it's going to give you all these postal codes. It tells you different regions and what the postal code is. It's like, gives you all these options. You can use GPO. GPO is well known. JKIA, Kayole, Mlolongo, Parklands, whatever. Yeah. So just search it and you'll find it. Okay. All right. So going back, so put in your country, and then this is another question that sometimes tricks people. So country where you live. So if you're like Kenyan and you are in the Middle East, you would come. I picked Qatar, but you can come and pick Saudi Arabia, whatever country you. So if you're in the Gulf, you would say, I'm in Saudi Arabia, I'm in Europe, I'm in USA, I'm in wherever. So this is a country where you live. And then you would put in your phone number. That's very self-explanatory. After that, this is another one this is a very important area, the email address. Okay. So put in the email, don't put theken@gmail.com. I've just used this as an example. Don't use the same. Put an email address that you can be able to access. Why is this important? Because they will contact you through the email address. This is way more important than your mailing address. Okay, your email address is where they'll contact you. When they send you instructions, your 2NL, and the process pretty much going forward will be communicated over email. So you need, and then also too, the other thing about making sure you have the right email is just in case you lose your confirmation number, you can be able to reset it using your email and last name. So make sure you kind of, you use a correct email address, Okay. All right. So let's move on. Number 12, they ask you about your highest level of education you have achieved as of today. This is another one that, sometimes trips people. So if you never went to high school at all, you would say primary school only. So then this is like, maybe you don't qualify for the high school, you don't have a high school certificate, but you have the two years experience out of the last 5 years that you can file. So if you're not enrolled in high school, just say primary school only. If you went to high school and did not finish, say high school, no degree. So you went to high school, dropped out in the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, you did not finish, that's high school, no degree. If you went to high school and finished, you have a certificate, that's the high school degree. That's one of the requirements, is to have a high school certificate or the 2 years out of the 5 last years working experience. And I've also done a video talking about what particular fields qualify for the experience. And then if you did not go to high school, but you went to a vocational school and you're using kind of your experience, maybe you went and did a trade school, or you did plumbing or whatever vocational school you did, welding, you can and you plan to use like your working experience, then you would do vocational. If you've taken some university courses but you haven't graduated, you would say some university courses, just use, in that case, you would just still use your high school degree, your high school certificate. If you have a university degree, you can check university degree, but just know that in the same way you would need to verify your high school certificate, you also need to verify your university degree. So some people often just use the high school degree because that's the minimum requirement, is to be done with high school. But if you put university degree, you need that verified. If you started master's, haven't finished, you can select that. If you have a master's degree, you can check that. If you've taken some doctorate level courses, you can check that. If you've taken PhD, then you can check that as well. So let me tell you. So I think there's a very good. Let me speak on this, which is very important. Okay, because it tells you here. What it tells you here, you must have a minimum of a high school diploma. Okay, high school diploma, or it tells you vocation schools or equivalency degrees are not acceptable. You must be a skilled worker in an occupation that requires at least 2 years of training or experience to qualify. Okay. So you did you did vocation, and you're a skilled worker, and you have at least 2 years of training or experience, like you went to school for 2 years, then that would qualify. That would qualify. The list of occupations is kind of here, is in this website, 1tonline.org, 1tonline.org. But let me speak here. I know sometimes it may seem very simplistic to just not, just do the high school diploma, because you don't want to verify your degree, your master's degree. But part of, there's some reasons. One of the reasons why they might deny you the visa is if you don't have any adaptable skills to be able to, that you're going to be a public charge. You're not going to be able to support yourself. So I feel like if you have a master's degree, put your master's degree in there. If you have a university degree, put it there. If you have a PhD, put it there, because that might separate you from the rest of the people. Because everybody else is saying they have a high school, but you're saying you have a master's degree, you're saying you have a PhD, you're saying you have a university degree. That could separate you from the rest of the people. So put it there. It could be the reason why you're selected and the other people are not. All right? Okay. Wanted to say that because that's important. It's important. All right. And then when it comes to what's your current marital status? If you're single, you would say I'm unmarried. If you're married, I would say, if you're married to somebody who's not a U.S. citizen, you can check that one. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, check this one, but you don't need to enter the information of your spouse if they're already a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, LPR, lawful permanent resident. If you're divorced, you would check there. If you're widowed, you would check there. If you're legally separated, you would check there, and you would have to enter your spouse's information. So legal separation is, so you're married, but there's a court order that that says you're legally separated. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're not legally separated, just say married and include your spouse. Otherwise, I will just say married, and then put in the number of kids. If you have 27 kids, you'll need to have their information. You'll need to have their names. You'll need to have their passport photos. Those children are children who are unmarried. They're not married, and they are under 21 years of age. Unmarried and under 21 years of age. And then, so I put one, and then after that, you can say continue. If you have any errors, it's going to give you errors. It's not going to let you go to the second part. And then part 2 is derivatives. That is, your spouses and your kids. So then, since I said I'm married, it's going to ask me my spouse's name. So I would put, my spouse's name. The same way you filled your name is the same thing that applies here. And then their birth date, whenever they were born, and then their gender, male or female, the city where they were born. Same thing like you filled in yours, but the things that apply for them. Country where your spouse was born, you can put it in there. And then you'll need to attach a photo of your spouse, photo of your wife or your husband. So on that note, let me say this thing, okay? So when you are married, you get a double chance to apply, okay? As long as both of you meet the qualification of at least a high school certificate, your wife can apply and then list you as the derivative. See that second page, that part 2? So let's say I'm married, okay? So I would put my information on part 1. And then I would check, say I'm married. If I go to part 2, it'll ask me my spouse information. Then I will put my wife's information, okay? If my wife was filling out, she would put her information on the part 1, and then on part 2, she would put my information. So that means we're married on one of the applications. I'm the primary applicant. And on the other application, she's the primary applicant. That means we have 2 applications as a married couple. Make sure you have a marriage certificate. You can prove that you're married. Please don't. This is where if you're filling out that you're not married, don't compromise after you get selected to add people, because if sometimes they do investigations. They separate you two and do interviews to see whether you are, whether you're actually married. They ask you questions that both of you would know if you live together. So don't just add anybody. That if it's come we stay, if you were never married, please do single, unmarried, and then add your kids. If you are married, or before you fill this out, go get a marriage license. Yeah, if you actually are married and traditionally and don't have a marriage certificate, go get a marriage certificate from the Attorney General. It is a quick process, and it make sure that you have the license and before you fill this out. Okay, don't complicate this. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people get disqualified, is messing this part up. Okay, but I just wanted to say, as a married couple, you have double chances. Okay, your wife fills and includes you, and you fill and include your wife. Okay, let's move on. So upload her photo, and then I put one child. I have one child. If you have so many kids, it's going to give you the number of kids you put in the part one. Okay, I only said one. So I put the baby's name, same information, same thing: birth date, the gender, are they a boy or a girl, what city were they born in, what country were they born in, and then you would attach the child's photo here. So this completes the section for the derivatives. Okay, so then after that you would hit continue. And then when you hit continue, now what it does is it gives you kind of a highlight of everything you filled out. Okay, highlight of everything. This is everything you filled out. Everything you filled out gives you a summary, so you can check the spelling, the dates, make sure that everything looks good. Your email looks good. The degree that you chose looks good. Your marital status looks good, and number of kids looks good. The part two, the derivatives, this is your spouse. Your spouse information looks good. Your kids' informations look good. And then, I told you, before you upload any photos, use the video that I made for you to testing DV photos. Okay. So then after that, you click submit. All right. After that, you are done with everything. You would click submit. Once you click submit, it's going to bring you a page that gives you the confirmation number. Print and save that confirmation number. Print and save that confirmation number. And friends, that is how you complete the DV lottery. Okay. So really the only thing you need is that's why I've told you, birth certificate. If you don't have a passport, if you have a passport, use your passport because your passport will have everything. You have the birth certificate only has two names, your names. It doesn't have your last name, your surname, but your passport will have your surname. Okay, your surname because they already gave them to you. You're called by your mom or you're called by your dad. Depends on what tribe or whatever you come from. Okay, and that is pretty much, that's the whole process. I've done several videos on my YouTube channel. I have a playlist called the DV Lottery playlist. That playlist has pretty much all the information you can ever ask for about the process after you filled out, after you win, the whole process, everything. What do I need? Questions, some of the questions on names, just watch those. If you have any questions about your names and stuff, I've done videos on, can I apply if I don't live in my home country, and all those options, all those questions. I've done comprehensive videos on this that will help you know what you're doing. It is much better for you to wait to do this than to do it and you don't have all the information. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a live. I'm going to have a live that is going to, I'm doing research on what are the best days of the DV lottery to apply. So if you can wait, I'm doing a live on Friday. It's my Friday, so it's my Friday in Kenya. It's gonna be on a Saturday morning in Kenya, and I'm gonna be walking you through the days for the last 3 DVs. So DV 2023, DV 2022, DV 2021. What are the dates that produced the most number of selectees, so that maybe you could choose one of those dates and say, I'm going to apply on this day, since a lot of people get selected on this day. All right. Otherwise, I mean, it's lottery. You can use that. It might not work, but you might as well play. And if there's ways to increase your odds, doesn't hurt to explore them. But I'm also going to be talking about the DV 2023, recapping the year that just ended. A lot of people were closed out of. All right, man. I hopefully helped you with all the information that you need. I wish you the best. Come back. Tell me, you got selected and you were successful. Share your stories here. This video is going to be used for a long time, So let's apply. Please apply. It doesn't hurt to apply. It's free. I've given you free information. The only thing you need is a passport photo. That's the only thing you need, just a passport photo, and then maybe your birth certificate. You don't even need your passport if you don't have it. You know your names already, so that's not going to be a problem. All right. Well, thank you so much, man, and God bless you guys. All right. Till next time. Thank you.